Man, My Hero Academia, the anime, Season 2, has been phenomenal. Absolutely, I have no disagreement with the statement, and I fully support it, that Season 2 of My Hero Academia slaughters Season 1. Season 1 was good. It was a good setup, an introduction to the world of My Hero Academia, an introduction to Deku's character, an introduction to his relationship with All Might. A lot of introductions with Season 1, and the pacing was a little bit, sometimes it got a bit slow, sometimes it was okay. Towards the end of Season 1, it really got, it picked up steam, and it got really good, but ultimately, you could argue that Season 1 was a bit, especially in comparison to Season 2, because my god. So, I believe the last time we spoke, I was talking about the Deku versus Todoroki fight, and it was, I still say, fucking classic. That shit was amazing. People are going to put that in AMVs for years to come. Since then, quite a bit has happened. We had the wrap-up of that tournament. We had the Bakugo versus Todoroki fight. Still to this day, I read it in the manga. I think I talked about it in the manga, and talking about it now, still disappointing because I really wanted to see an all-out war between these two motherfuckers, but Todoroki was dealing with the internal conflicts. Maybe we'll see something else down the road between the two of them, but as of right now, it's still a disappointing moment. Looked very, very good. The anime has just been looking gorgeous when it needs to look gorgeous, so no complaints in that department. It more so stems back to the source material that it was like, fuck, I wanted to see a good fight, and because of Todoroki's internal thing, so, some people called it an ass pull. I remember when that went down in the manga, a lot of people were calling it an ass pull and bullshit and shit like that. Absolutely not. I disagree with that. It's disappointing. Yes, I wanted to see some epic shit. I wanted to see a full-on, knockout, dragged-out, fucking awesome battle between the two of them. We didn't get that, so disappointed in that regard, but, I mean, the character has been set up that he's dealing with internal conflicts for quite some time now, so you can't really say, hey, this came out of nowhere. No, he was dealing with bullshit going through his head, so I completely understand that. Disappointing, but I get it. I understand it. Doesn't really completely make me say, fuck this shit, because that's ridiculous. Now, the stuff that I want to talk about so bad, oh my gosh. The Hero Killer. This is the arc right here, and it was not that long. I remember it being a lot longer in the manga. It was, I want to say, a handful of episodes more, maybe a bit more than that, whatever, the setups and shit like that, but the Hero Killer arc, oh my gosh. If people can't get behind My Hero Academia after this arc, after the Hero Killer Stain arc, then I don't know. There's no hope for those people, because this is that arc that I feel as though really is going to grab you. There's something else in the future. No spoilers at all, but there's something else in the future of My Hero Academia that's even better than this, but I will say this is the equivalent, but I would argue even better, just keeping it real, then it's like the Arlong Park arc of One Piece. A lot of people, that's where they got hooked or whatever, or, Alabasta and shit like that, but like, this is the Arlong Park. This is that first really big, really exciting arc where, like, we had some pretty cool shit. We had the invasion at the end of Season 1, and we had the tournament and shit like that. All good stuff. If you're not hooked with the Hero Killer Stain, I don't know. I just don't know. This is the Chunin exams. Well, you would argue that the tournament that we had prior was the Chunin exams, but what I'm meaning is the feel. That feel where it's like, holy shit, I have to keep watching now. That's what the Stain Killer arc brought forth. That's the one where it's like, that's the Soul Society, which, I don't want to go that far, because Chunin Exam Soul Society were like classic shit, but the Hero Killer Stain was still great, and I loved the message. I loved that he actually had something more to him other than, ah yes, I'm an evil motherfucker. It was like, no, you would argue maybe he was, taking his ideology way too far. Absolutely. I mean, you can't even argue that. He's killing people that shouldn't die or whatever, but he had an ideology that he followed. Whether obviously, good or bad, he still had something behind him. He was more than just a mustache twirler, which is one of the things where it's like, Shigaraki, evil guy, brought forth Nomus and did what he did while the Hero Killer Stain stuff was going on and shit like that. But like, the difference between Shigaraki and what he did, at the end of Season 1 with the UA invasion and shit like that, and the Hero Killer Stain, way different, because Hero Killer Stain, he was doing what he felt was justice. You know what I'm saying? He looks at it like the golden age of comic books. The Superman is supposed to do what he's supposed to do, and he's supposed to live broken. He's not supposed to want nothing. That's his ideology. As of right now, Shigaraki just comes across as a spoiled little shithead. You know what I'm saying? Point blank, not to slight the character. He does some evil shit, and sometimes characters that don't necessarily have the greatest motivation in the world can still be cool villains, a la Frieza. It's like, he just wants to kill shit and wreck shit and be an evil fuck. Likewise with Shigaraki, but Shigaraki, because he's young, and you could definitely see 100% that he's very inexperienced, it comes across a little bit more as like, this evil little brat opposed to like this mastermind, because he's trying to do different things, and you see that he has this boss, so to speak, or this sensei or whatever that he looks up to and asks even for permission and asks to do different things, and even this dude is providing him with the nobles and shit like that. So it's kind of a little bit interesting in that regard, but definitely why the hero killer Stain was one interesting, and we're going to talk a lot more about it, but why he was way more interesting than like Shigaraki was or has been or even is right now in the story is because his ideologies. He wasn't just doing this shit for shits and giggles. He had a point and a message, and one of the best things as well is that, yeah, he's evil, but two things that he did and said throughout his course of villainry, or, you know, whatever you want to call it, is one, he said, I will die at All Might's hands. That's a real fucking hero. So you got to look at him like, okay, yeah, he's not completely evil, and again, that goes along with his ideology. Two, how he acted with Deku and what he did at the end to save Deku. Like, you know, he said, oh no, you're a real one, I'm not gonna kill you. And then even saving him and shit like that is like, you're supposed to be a villain, but you just saved somebody. So it really makes the character a lot more complex, and overall puts him in a good spot as a villain. Well, again, you'd argue villain. Maybe you could argue some people would think he's an anti-hero. Personally, I do think he still falls under villain. He just had a really twisted ideology. He killed people, bottom line. There's no going back from that. Especially he paralyzed Ida's brother from the fucking waist down. So I'd still say villain, but he's just really complex, and I love that about the character. Now, the fights, oh my gosh. When you had Deku, Ida, Todoroki, they were jumping this motherfucker, okay? They were like, hey, can't beat him? Don't join him. Jump him. Fuck him. That's what they applied in these episodes of My Hero Academia. Absolutely loved it. Art, animation, when Deku and Ida both fucking hit him at the same time, it was glorious. I absolutely loved it. I felt it was great. Honestly, I felt as though throughout that arc, the things that I didn't really care about was, once again, and I hate to keep harping on him, because I do believe that in the future he could become something amazing, but as of right now, Shigaraki, when he came with the nobles, it's kind of like, bro, what are you doing? Like, I go back to it, and I don't know how many people are gonna, you know, follow this reference, but I go back to like when Jay-Z was on stage and Lil Mama jumped on stage. That's how I felt with Shigaraki. It's like, Stain was Jay-Z, he got the stage, everybody wants to see Stain, and it's like Lil Mama like, hey, I'm here, motherfucker. It's like, get out of here, bro, no one wants you right now. So that's kind of how I was feeling about Shigaraki while all of the Stain hero killer shit was going on. It's crazy how his actions have ratified the world. He left a huge impact, so not only was he a great, really cool arc in it himself, and it showcased that there's other different ideologies out there, but also he was kind of an opening, a door to the future of My Hero Academia, and creating more people like him and creating more establishments. Now, I think Shigaraki, because of what he did and kind of recruiting him into this thing, unfortunately, that piece of shit is going to have more people coming to him thinking that, oh, he must have the same ideology, right? You know, they were rocking with each other. So Shigaraki kind of weaseled his way. I know I keep on harping on him and I'm talking down on him. Again, he is the flip side, in my opinion, to Deku. If Deku is the upstart that is going to become something great someday, he's supposed to be the next All Might, then Shigaraki could become one of the next great villains at some given point. It's just a matter of him getting there, because as of right now, he's still Scrub Lord, just like while Deku is improving and advancing, he's still Scrub Lord tier. You know, if he went straight one-on-one with the hero killer, if he wanted to, could have slit his throat like nothing, just like what he did to Shigaraki. So really interesting stuff in that regard. Again, the Stain hero killer shit is going to go down as, like, people will say, well, if you didn't like season 1 and you didn't really fuck with the tournament because it was just a tournament, the hero killer is the point where if you don't like the hero killer, just stop watching My Hero Academia, stop reading it, just leave it the fuck alone, because that is some great shit. As of right now in the anime, that is absolutely the best arc of My Hero Academia. Just amazing art, animation, the message, the setup for the future of the story, just absolutely great shit. Can't say anything bad other than Shigaraki was kind of like, yeah, Lil Mama, I guess. We're going to call him Lil Mama for a while. Definitely curious what a lot of people thought of the Hero Killer Stain arc. One, do you feel as though that's the Arlong Park of My Hero Academia? That's the arc that absolutely everybody will get into My Hero Academia and love it? Or maybe you thought the tournament did it better, and maybe the tournament was the Arlong Park type of deal, or maybe you thought the tournament was the Chunin exams or the Soul Society. I think the Hero Killer Stain, as short as it was and as quick as it was very powerful. It had a real big impact, and there's only more great shit. Again, spoiler alert, there's great shit to come in My Hero Academia that'll even top that, and I'll leave it at that. And your overall thoughts of what's been going on. My Hero Academia Season 2 has been phenomenal, blowing out the water Season 1. Yeah, Season 1 was obviously half the episodes, but what it's covered in Season 2, the tournament, Hero Killer, and there's still a bit more, I fucks with it so heavy. Now, I believe the next episode that we have after all of this shit, because the latest episode that I've talked about in this video that I watched was the hospital stuff. Everybody's recuperating and shit like that. Next week, I believe we have some filler with Frog Girl. It's Frog Girl, so you never know. It might be a little groovy, but don't really care too much for it. But yeah, My Hero Academia on fire. Your thoughts of it thus far with Season 2. I'm hype about it. Hero Killer Stain. That's the Arlong Park, baby. Everyone's gonna get into it. And if you don't get into it, leave it alone. That's all I have for this one, though. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and stalk my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm Finette World, and as always, people, have an awesome day.